Hi, how's everybody doing? It's Paul from Magpie 24/7 back again with another view from the van. Hope everybody is okay and looking forward as much as you can to the game down at the Etihad in the latest episode of Oil Classico. It is, of course, Newcastle United making the trip down to Manchester to take on Manchester City. The most difficult assignment of the entire season, Manchester City away for me. Any team who finishes above these, they'll be champions, because for me, these have been the standard bearers for quite a number of years now. I know Turkey Teeth had his one title success, but as far as standard bearers, as far as the best players, the best team, for me, it is these guys over at Manchester City. So yeah, massive game, massive challenge tomorrow evening, 8 o'clock kick-off. So something new, something a little bit different on a weekend. But Newcastle United go down there, with hope. I definitely think we've got hope. A fantastic start to the season last time out. An absolute and utter fucking demolition of Aston Villa at St James's Park. I don't know what Alex Ferguson was saying, but I saw 5-1, and to be fair, Newcastle United could and maybe should have had another couple. It could have easily been 6-7, 8-1, something like that. There's no doubt about it for me. I thought Villa got off quite lightly, to be honest, in the end. And I still felt that Newcastle United had gears to go up if it was needed. However, there's no doubt that the challenge, the difficulty increases with this game against Manchester City. The reigning champions, European champions, Super Cup. I watched them the other night. I thought they were, I know they only won on penalty kicks, but I thought they were more than worth it. I know they've got injuries at the moment. They've got a little bit of illness. De Bruyne missing is absolutely massive, a massive miss for them, and I expect them to sort of delve into the transfer market, but nothing before, touch wood that is, nothing before the playoffs on Saturday. But look, after last weekend, after last season, some of the football that we played, the points that we've accrued over the past calendar year, the football, everything else, the manager, the signings that we've made, I go down there more confident than ever. Normally on the seasons gone by with Bruce, etc., I'd have been taking this van and probably parking it on the goal line. That's a sort of level of trepidation, and expected an absolute tonkin'. But last season down there, certainly in the game at St James's, 3 apiece, it was an entertaining, lively affair. And we swung with the best of them. If you can get in there with the best of them and bloody their nose a bit, then you just never know. We've got an absolutely horrendous record at the Etihad in previous encounters with Manchester City. The days of Rolando Aarons in the Cup feel like an absolute awful long time ago. But you just never know. They're playing on Wednesday night. A little bit of fatigue. They're travelling back. They'll have got back Thursday-ish, some recovery, and then literally into preparation for the game. I know Pep Guardiola in his press conference after the game out in in Greece wasn't happy. The temperature was absolutely off the chart, and then he's expected to get back on the plane. No time for any celebration or anything else like that. Get back to Manchester and to prepare for a very, very difficult Newcastle United game. That's what he's saying. That's what he's believing. And look, he's saying, at the end of the day, if you're in the Champions League, you are an absolutely amazing, high-quality team. He's paid a lot of compliments to Eddie Howe, a lot of compliments to Newcastle United and our players. He's saying, look, we're going to go as strong as possible. This will be a test. And he's also spoke about the fact that if Newcastle United can stay away from injuries, if we can balance the demands of 4 competitions this season, then there is no reason why Newcastle United couldn't be challenging for the Premier League. Now, look, personally, myself, everybody that I speak to about Newcastle United, everybody sat round us at the ground, not one has mentioned about any sort of title charge. I think most of us would be over the moon if we could get back into European competition next season and perhaps go one better than we did maybe in the League Cup last year, Could we win it? Could we get back to another final? Can we go deep, balls deep in a cup competition? It's all about progress. It's all about putting the building blocks in place behind the scenes, of course, on the commercial side, so that we can compete with these mega powers who, you know, have huge financial muscle in the transfer market and stuff. So it's all about that for Newcastle United. It's all about a process driven. It's all about building the club up bit by bit. We haven't got the luxury of, you know, a football manager type job. We haven't got the luxury of, you know, when Abramovich came along at Chelsea, just being able to write checks out. We've got to do it. I think anybody who's been watching this Amazon documentary, that has come through loud and proud and clear, that, you know, they're having to do it the right way. They're having to do it while sticking to FFP, and having to do it still against the odds. If you look at some of the commercial side, what Manchester City are doing, and they're like 3-4 times the money in that we are getting, and we're talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions on top that they've got to play with, which we simply at this point do not. You know, it comes back to the old adage about, you know, we've probably got the wealthiest club owners in the world owning Newcastle United. Means absolutely nothing, because, you know, of the situation that the club finds itself in, the commercials that the club are operating in. It's going to take time, there's no doubt about it. So I think talk of title charges or, you know, a shot at the Premier League title is quite a bit premature. It's clearly where the club and the ownership wants us to be. You know, again, on the documentary, that's come through loud and proud that, you know, they want to be number one. They're not there to make the top 10. They're not there just to make the numbers up. It is serious business, and they want Newcastle United to be number one. They want us to be in the Champions League. They want us to be, you know, pushing and competing to win the Champions League. You know, there's no point of being in second place in these folks' eyes at the end of the day. So it's absolutely fantastic. I'm going to be doing something separate about the Amazon documentary as we get towards the end of it. Again, stayed up last night, literally 1 second past midnight. Said to the missus, you better pass that remote control over. Bang, there we go, and we're watching that last night. Absolutely fantastic it was. But yeah, back to the game. Injury wise, as we were before the Aston Villa game, we still do have quite a few injuries. Emil Kraft is out. Javier Manquillo, who knows what's happening with him. Rumours about a transfer, but Eddie Howe is maintaining that he is injured. And then, of course, Joe Willock as well, which is a big miss. We're not going to see him until after the international break. But no Joe Willock. However, despite those injuries, the bench absolutely looked, well, it was strong, wasn't it? There was plenty of options there last time out. And, you know, the ability to bring quality off the bench, like Callum Wilson, like Harvey Barnes. You've got Livramento as well on the bench. Adding in the likes of Hall possibly as well. Probably not for this game, but maybe for later games. You're going to have lots of different options. Players who you can think really are unlucky to miss out. You know, Elliot Anderson was on the bench. He's had a fantastic summer. Lewis Miley's been absolutely awesome. I put on one of the pre-season videos. It was the Lewis Miley show, yet he didn't even make the bench last time out. So it's it goes to show you the direction the club is going, and the extra choices and the extra options that are at the at the disposal of Eddie Howe. And I suppose for this game, against Manchester City, it's a case of, do you stick with the same team? Do you reward that team after, you know, playing fantastically well, or do you rotate? Now, when you get to the, you know, past the Champions League games, when you're getting into September, October, November time, and the games are coming literally every couple of days, there's clearly going to be a need to rotate. At the moment, games a week apart for us probably means that we don't have to change. Personally, I think it's going to be an unchanged team as well. But, you know, Manchester City, they're going to have to roll the dice. They're going to have to make a few changes, because no doubt they're going to be wanting to guard against any more injuries. They've picked up quite a few already, and they won't want to risk fatigue and stuff. Eddie Howe, I think he will. I think he'll go for exactly the same team. So that'll be Nick Pope in goal, Trippier at right back, Fabian Schär, who thankfully made the game last time out. I thought it was great against Aston Villa. So Fabian Schär in the middle, along with Sven Botman. Dan Burn will continue in at left back. In the middle, And for me, three of the best in the Premier League really are Joe Linton, Bruno and Sandro Tonali in the middle. And then you're looking at up top, it'll be Isak. And then either side, it'll be Anthony Gordon and also Miggy on the other side. So again, you're looking at players like Harvey Barnes on the bench. Now, these are players who can come on if it's a tight game and we're looking for a goal to try and take something out of it. Maybe if try and get our noses ahead. The ability to bring a Harvey Barnes on is absolutely fantastic. In the second half, to have a Callum Wilson to be able to bring on, amazing, and so on and so forth. Even Elliot Anderson, like I said, how good has his pre-season been? So good, it really is gutting, but you know, it's a difficult situation for him to get into the midfield because it is one of the best in the league. It's up there with Manchester City's, and I think that's the greatest compliment that I can give our midfield options. You know, Sean Longstaff will be unlucky. He'll be on the bench again. I don't think Sean's done a great deal wrong, to be honest. And he finds himself on the bench. Elliot Anderson hasn't done a great deal wrong. Will be on the bench also as well. But Joe Linton, Bruno and Tonali, if they have a good game, if they can dictate, if they can do anywhere near what they did last time out against Aston Villa, against Manchester City, then we have a great chance of getting something out of it. Now, I think any Geordie would absolutely snap your hand off for a point. I've got a feeling of 2-2. That was what I was chatting to Kyle about. And I know that others have gone for 2-2 as well. Jack, I think on his preview up on the Facebook and Twitter page, had gone for 2-2 also. So I'm going to go with 2-2 as well. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was one of those games. Kyle has been saying, you know, he's not one to make predictions. You'll know from even back in the day previously and all through Magpie 24/7, he doesn't like to make predictions. But he's saying it's like, I've got a funny feeling. So fingers crossed that comes true, because we got to be owed a victory at some point down at the Etihad. Carl's going to be at the game as well tomorrow. So again, plenty of content to be able to come out onto the channel. And let's hope it's one of them special nights, because no doubt about it, we've got an absolutely horrendously difficult start to the season. If we could get a point or 3 points against Manchester City, that would be huge. They haven't dropped points, I think, since January, since Everton. I think that's right. So it's been a long time. But you just never know, do you? You just never know. They are missing a few. They will be tired. They will be fatigued. We've got our tails up, you know what I mean? Full of confidence, playing great from last week, even last season. The confidence has got to be riding high. We're making signings, which again is going to lift the mood, lift morale. And I think the players will see that there is an opportunity to get something out of this game tomorrow. So fingers crossed. I've gone for 2-2. Kyle's confident of a victory. So we'll see which one is right. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Kyle's right. I just hope we avoid any defeat. We don't want any sort of negative momentum. We want to avoid injuries, of course. You know, a gentle, gradual build up as we go into the new season before we get to these Champions League games. Can't wait for the draw. The draw's at the end of the month. Cannot wait for the Champions League draw to see who we get. And again, whoever we do from pot 4 is going to be kicking themselves. They will not want to come to St James's Park. It was rocking against Villa. It's going to go up a level or 2 or 10 even when it comes to Champions League nights. A return to Champions League nights under the lights. Cannot wait. But yeah, massive game tomorrow. Going 2-2. Let me know what you think with regards to who should be starting. Should Harvey Barnes possibly come in? Does Callum Wilson need to get some game time? Or are you happy enough with to go with what we went with previously? What do you think the result is going to be? And just whilst you're doing that and you're putting your comments down below, also just take the time to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification icon as well. Subscribe to Magpie 24/7. Doesn't cost anything, but does really help support the channel and help us to grow. We wanted to get to 2,000 before the season started. We literally are an ant's knob off that. So any extra subscribes or anything else like that is greatly appreciated. 128,000 people now following Magpie 24/7. It's absolutely mind-blowing. It is greatly appreciated. and we continue just to try pushing it all the way along. New website to come shortly. We've got some article writers who are going to be coming in and doing some longer pieces, shorter pieces, some detailed looks at various different aspects of the club, the first team, the reserve teams, youth players, profiles on certain players, the women's team as well, which the news today about that game, I'll quickly touch upon that before we wrap up today. But game cancelled this weekend against Halifax because of obviously the Women's World Cup final being on Sunday. Halifax didn't want to play. They have basically refused to travel, and they're not going to be up to Kingston Park. To me, it should force a forfeit. However, they're on about possibly reschedule on the game. To me, common sense should have prevailed, and they should have just pushed the kick-off time back until later in the afternoon, until after the Women's World Cup final was done, and it would have been problem solved. I do not understand the logic from Halifax to basically refuse to travel. The down in tools, not wanting to fulfil this fixture, despite them knowing weeks ago when they arranged all the fixtures, when they arranged the schedule, that this was World Cup final day that they were going to be opening the campaign on. Makes no sense. Let me know about that down below in the comments. Do you think it's right that it should just be rescheduled? Should it have been pushed back later in the day? If they refuse to travel up, if they refuse to fulfil the fixture as has been arranged, then should they forfeit the point? Should it be awarded as, I don't know, a 3-0 victory for Newcastle United and our women's team? Let me know down below, because I just think it's unfair. It's unfair on the fans. It's unfair on the players who've been, working for 6-7 weeks now leading up to this. You're talking about booking the stadium, booking staff, booking food for the event and stuff like that. All of that literally is gone up in smoke, all because they're refusing to play. It just leaves, to me, a bad taste in your mouth. I think it's unprofessional. And not really on from Halifax, if I'm being honest. So yeah, let me know about your thoughts about that down below, because again, it's something I'm going to want to do a little bit of extra work on, and maybe do a separate video on, because again, we want to push the women's content that we've started to do over the past and last season. We want to continue doing stuff and highlighting the fantastic work going on over there, and some other stuff as well. So yeah, subscribe to Magpie 24/7. We're on everything, including the new threads. If you're on there, check us out, Magpie 24/7. But we're also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, like I say, TikTok, YouTube. We're everywhere, and we do genuinely appreciate the ongoing support that everybody has been giving, myself, Kyle, and everybody else. So yeah, some exciting times ahead. Looking forward to the game. A little bit of trepidation, but also a little bit of excitement, because this isn't the Steve Bruce Newcastle United. This isn't the Whipping Boys. This isn't they can only play in a certain way. Well, don't you know? Well, no, they fucking can't, because they're absolutely awesome. Newcastle United are amazing. The players that we continue to sign are absolutely off the world. Today, I know he's not a Geordie, but Geordie dad, must be a proud day for him. Lewis Hall coming up, signing on loan for Chelsea, loan with an agreement to purchase built into the deal. So, loan him now, pay sort of in a year's time. Again, trying to get around FFP, trying to act creatively. From what I've seen of him when he played Newcastle United previously, what a player. Loves to get forward, loves to get the crosses knocked in, and can't wait to see more of him. And Newcastle United buying young, up and coming, hungry players, and you could say, in the past week or so, potentially 2 England under, well, it's not even going to be under 21 internationals. It's going to be eventually in the future full internationals. It's like we're buying the future England team. So exciting, because we've gone from so long without having any sort of players, any representation in the England team, to signing all of these players, having the current players who are playing for England, and potentially future England superstars as well. So absolutely amazing. Unbelievable, isn't it? Unbelievable how things can change so quickly. So yes, Newcastle United travelling down to Manchester tomorrow to take on Manchester City. Should be a good game. I'm expecting plenty of entertainment. I'm expecting end to end. Pep knows he's in for a battle. Eddie's saying, look, we're going to give it our all. We're going to absolutely go for it. Playing in the normal style. We're not just going to sit back and hit and hope balls, park the bus. None of that. We play our style, our system, our identity. We keep the intensity going, and we try. We try with everything, and we will not leave any, ounce in the tank. I'm absolutely sure about that. So yeah, let me know what you think about the score down below. And in the meantime, take care, keep it Toon, and I'll speak to you later.